Hello everyone! How's everybody today on a Monday? I am trying to get ready for a trip and kind of have a mess. I've been filling up pans so I'll have plenty of paint when I'm gone. Anyway, today I thought I would join the bandwagon with One Book July. I've been watching the One Book July videos since it began 4 years ago. I believe it was 2013 it started. And although I don't have everything in one book, I do have a big book and it says go big or go home, so I thought maybe this would qualify. So I thought I would share it with you today. Now this is my carry-all, this is kind of my happy place. It doesn't have any of my planning in it. It just, I'll share each notebook. It has my morning pages and my creative journal and that kind of stuff. Now I did share my little planning English is it English Rose Pemberley? And I'll link that video down below. And then I also shared my spiritual traveler's notebook where I do all my Bible study and scripture writing and letters to God. So I'll link those two down below. But this book here is basically my journaling. This is a Pelladori. This is a company from, I don't know if it's Japan or what. I'll also link that down below. I really love this nice soft leather. The only thing I don't like about, I mean that's what it started with and now it's like this. I even sprayed it with fixative or whatever it is to protect it from the sun, and then I also conditioned it, but anyway, but I love it. I still love it. Okay, so when I open up my book, I have just a bunch of little stuff that I can journal with. I have my washi tape little cards and just little you know, doodads and whatnots. And then in here I have more journaling cards. And then I always like to keep a post-it note thing with me. You can get these at Michael's. I keep that there for like when I'm maybe journaling and something that I need to do comes to mind and I don't want to forget it. I'll just put it on a post-it note and set it aside. So this first book is my creative journal. I watercolored this with watercolor paper. I'm just a beginner, just learning. And in here I put all my scraps and you know whatnot, my fun stuff, things that I come across. And I do a painting, I try out paints, I put in pictures. I hope this is in frame. This is my first time using this tripod, so you guys will have to bear with me. I take pictures of my traveler's notebooks as they come in and put it in, pictures of me and my grandkids, notes from my husband, trying out pencils. A lot of times I'll just do a sketch like this of a pile of books of all the different books that I'm reading, and of course my Holy Bible. This was some tea that I enjoyed, and so I didn't want to forget about it when I went to order the name. And then I'll do some sketching in here, trying out paints. This is all just trying out watercolors. This page I do not like. I got to figure out what to do with it. I may just glue it together. We have misses. We have hits and we have misses. Sometimes I don't do anything with pages that I really like. I'll keep them and then I'll run them off on either onion skin paper or Tomoe River paper. And like this one, I wrote a nice note to my bestie for her birthday on my little typewriter, and I'm going to send it to her. So that's why I like to keep some of these pages plain so that I can use them for notes or different things that I want to type and put in my journal. Now here, in this book I showed you I keep a research book in the back of a topic that I'm researching, and this one just right now happens to be essential oils. I started that research in this book here. And when I was getting into oils, I went through and I did all my research, was looking up which ones that I wanted for different ailments and whatnot, and that's where that began. But I realized I wasn't going to always be able to just go find this, that I needed a whole little booklet to do that subject study on, and that's how I do research. And then this here was a picture my quilt shop manager sent to me, Linda. Hi Linda, that I miss so dearly, and who took care of my shop when we were on the road doing quilt shows. And I put in pictures of my grandkids and when new grandbabies are born, and my darling daughter-in-law. This is another page I wasn't happy with, but she loves lavender, and so I need to try and fix that up. You know, a little fortune cookie goodies. Here, I'll do lists in here too. Like here's my summer pool bag, the things I want to keep in my pool bag for summer. I go do laps. I'm in the pool at 6:30 every weekday morning. I know, crazy, totally sinful. And a lot of times I'll go back in and add different things. If I have a plain page, I mean, this isn't plain, it's got watercolor, but I love going back and adding things into it too. I love putting glassine envelopes in here for the sound. This was something that I took off the back of a bag of chickpeas. Paint. That was a paint swatch I had left over, so I kind of just did that. This was a Yahtzee game my husband and I played, and he's like, why do you have that in there? And then he saw the word loser, and he knew it wasn't me that lost. Oh, it's amazing that man even plays a game with me. Now this here, I was trying out my new Daniel Smith watercolors. I've been slowly trying to add to my collection. And this is so therapeutic for me. I just absolutely love doing this. Look at that manganese blue hue one. Ugh. And I love all their pinks, and I love their genuine colors that are made from real rock. Here's another page. And then I went in and added this acetate and put some stickers on it. So here was some Happy Mail. I made little zines for all my grandkids and took a picture of it and just put it in there. I do a lot of watercolor testing in this creative journal. I mean, it is truly a creative journal. I do creative. This here was I wrote about my daughter the day she was born on her birthday, and then I copied it off and sent it to her. This is just I'm learning how to do faces. So yeah. That's my creative journal, my happy place. I just love working in that. And this one would usually be out of here by now to help make this not so big. But I am headed to Las Vegas and Boise to see my grandkids and my daughters and son-in-laws and sons. So I knew that they'd get a kick out of going through it. So I decided to keep it in here. Now this book I've been keeping since January of 2015. This is my ideas book. Now in this, I just write ideas that come to me. Whatever it is, doesn't matter if I may not do it for years. When I get these great ideas that I think, I write them down. And I try to do little, I try to make it pretty, and I don't want it just plain writing, so I try to spruce it up a little bit. And so whenever I'm bored or I don't know what to do, maybe I want to start a new project, I'll go here and I'll find something. Without fail, that happens. Now this is my morning pages. This I watercolored, and I did some modeling paste on with a stencil. I love that stencil of mine. Now this, I started out this time, I told myself, okay, all I'm going to do is write my morning pages. I'm only going to write. And so I did for quite a bit, just write. And then I think, oh, I want at least a little bit of pretty on the page, and I'll stick a sticker in. And then the other day I thought I was working in my creative journal, and I did this. It was just a happy day. A lot of little things happened, and I wanted just to record everything. In the mail, one of my best friends sent me a Paris Year by Janice McLeod. She wrote Paris Letters, which is a darling book. I received Happy Mail, and I received a Tomoe River insert from Paper Cats. So I just wanted to record it all. And then this is what came on a sticker pack, and I just marked it. A lot of times I'll put a tab on a page like this. It's a happy page that I want to be able to find easily. And then I printed out love this page so that I can find it. So anyway, that should be in my creative journal, but anyway, it isn't. So those are my morning pages. Then I have my book journal. Now I've been doing this for I don't know how many years now. I'm an avid reader. I love reading. And we don't have a television, so I do a lot of reading. Sometimes I go in slumps, but I read 50 to 60 books a year. I always want to do 100, but it's usually around 50 or 60. So what I do in this book, at the beginning flap, I always record the books I'm reading that month, the ones that I finished, and then I put a star rating by it. Goodreads does a star rating 1 to 5, so I kind of go by that. And then, I don't know, I enjoy going back and looking at it. It kind of reminds me of my month of reading, when I can look at that just at a glance and see what I've read. So I enjoy doing that. And then in here, I'll just write about books that I've been reading. I may do book reviews. Here I did a 2016 reading year review I broke it down into nonfiction, fiction, my assessment of my year. I write down the books as I buy them so that I have a record of it, so that I won't double buy. And I have a whole traveler's notebook just set up for my book life. And if you guys are interested in seeing that, let me know down in the comments. But it has about 4 or 5 inserts in it, and it is just totally about my book life. Now, I used to keep this journal in there, but I found that I wasn't writing in it much because it wasn't accessible to me. Like this book is pretty much always with me. On the go, when I leave, whatever. On the plane, on Wednesday morning, this will be with me, along with this little one. I mean, but now my book journal, it isn't. It usually stays in my studio. So since I put it in here, I have been writing a lot more about my book life. So that's why it is staying in here. Now when it gets done, this insert, it'll be archived into that book journal. And I like here again to do stacks of books and write in the books that I'm reading at that time. I also like to find book images of the book I'm reading and print it out and put it in. So I do that a lot. Here's a picture of me reading at Barnes & Noble in Nashville, across from the Centennial Park my husband took. So yeah, so that's my book journal. Sometimes I do a lot of pre-prep too on my pages like this, so it's ready to go. In fact, right now I'm trying to prep a bunch of pages for, I have a 5-hour flight Wednesday morning from here to Vegas, and so I want to do a lot of catch up on my journaling. And then this insert, I just try to keep things I can add, little cards, flags and whatnot. Now this here is a book that I'm working on, a memoirs. I'm kind of keeping track of what's going on in my life in that booklet, so that stays with me too. And then here's a bunch of more little journaling ephemera, and then I always try to keep some sort of